welcome to the Angry Nerd Podcast. My name is Arshawn Wade, aka the Angry Nerd. The Angry Nerd Podcast is taken in front of a live Facebook audience from my mom's basement. The Angry Nerd Podcast is brought to you in part by a few bad life choices and a couple of shattered dreams. The Angry Nerd Podcast is made possible by money that my wife gives me from my SSI check, some chick named Joni, and proceeds from listeners like you. If you want to be one of the listeners that helps contribute to this show getting better and better, go to Cash App. My Cash App is $, the Angry Nerd. But wait a minute, we are not glorified internet begging out here. No. We're not just saying, hey, watch my show and give me $1. You can pick channel merch up. You can get an Angry Nerd t-shirt. Message me if you follow me on Facebook. DM me if you follow me on Instagram. Or you can go to customteesbyarshawn.com and put into the description, I want an Angry Nerd Podcast t-shirt. I will get yours out to you for the low price of $20 plus shipping and handling for sizes small through extra large. All orders get shipped on Friday. So depending on when you order, you can get yours in a couple of days. Anyways, Sha'Carri Richardson. This is really an impromptu show. Like me and Kevin are gonna get on later on this evening if time permits and Lord says the same. And we're going to do our normal thing. But I had to speak on this because I'm at home and I don't have anything else to do. And I was like, I ran across this thing about Sha'Carri Richardson. Now, let me say this because I'm about to talk shit. I want that to be known out the gate. This is not the, oh, woe to the little black sister show. I'm about to talk shit. I'm about to go smooth in on not only Sha'Carri Richardson, Sha'Carri and black women at large. This is that show. So if you're a black lady that don't want to hear a little skinny black dude talking shit about black women, now's the time to sign off because I'm about to go smooth in on this little effort. But anyway, before I do, I want to preface it by saying I am a fan of Sha'Carri Richardson. Yep, I'm a big fan, and I just found out she is an adult, and I can express my desire to do extramarital activities with her. So I'm not on the R. Kelly side of the game when I say that is a very, very attractive little girl. I think that this little heifer is so fine, and I'm such a fan of her. I love her energy. I love Sha'Carri Richardson's little mannerisms about her. I love everything about her. I love her as an athlete. I think she's phenomenal. I think that she is to this generation what FloJo was to her generation. I believe that. I think she's very special. I think that Sha'Carri Richardson has all of the makings of a world-class superstar. I think that based on the way her personality is and the way she's so cute and bubbly, I think that she's going to be one of those people who transcends her sport. I think that Sha'Carri is going to wind up, doing Dancing with the Stars and hosting shows. And I think she's going to wind up doing great things. I think that Sha'Carri Richardson is going to do big, big things. And I'm such a fan and I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait to see it because I believe it in my heart. She's one of those special people that God puts down here for us to admire, to be admired and to be loved and revered by the world. I think that she's a person who's a household name, and we're always going to have something to say about Sha'Carri Richardson. She's just one of those special people, and very, very fucking attractive. Gee whiz, that is a beautiful girl. Of course, she's way too young for me, but if I was 10 years younger, if I was 26. Oh, I would be all about trying to be at the next Olympics and trying to run into. I would try to be where she's at. I hope she's not single because goodness gracious in life, I can imagine she's probably got stalkers. If I was 10 years younger, I'd probably want to. But anyways, the thing that I wanted to speak on is that I was critical of the young lady because she thinks the rules don't apply to her. While I think that she is super attractive and influential and special and great, I think that this little mother effer needs a reality check. Like the rules still apply to you. Now, grieving your mother, I get that. I started smoking weed exceptionally heavily at 23 after my brother passed away, who was just a year younger than I was. You know what I mean? So I totally get that. But that doesn't mean that if there are some consequences to be meted out because of that behavior, that I get to circumvent that process that is diplomatic to everybody. Every other Olympian is subject to the same rules. So for her to think that because her mom passed, well, condolences, but that doesn't give you the right to break the rules. And that also does not mean that the governing body is obligated to give you some sort of preferential treatment based on these circumstances, as terrible as they were. We still have a job to do, and we still got business as usual. So the same black girl magic that got you to where you are, you have to tap into that when you fuck up. Because as a man, especially as a brother, there's certain, when I fuck up, all that excellence, all that greatness, the fact that I can pick up any ball known to man and I can handle my own with it. I don't care if it's a golf ball, a tennis ball. I've never played certain sports, and the first time I play them, I'm just good at it. I got that black gene. I'm the black dude that can play any sport. It doesn't matter. Equestrian, polo, it doesn't matter. Put me out there, let me see it done a little bit, and I'll get out there and I can do it too. I'm not the greatest, but I will be out there and I will hold my own. I'm going to score. Believe that. So I possess that. So that being said, that does me being special or me having skills or gifts does not give you the right to circumvent the rules. So I don't think that the Olympics were wrong for whatever penalty they put on the young lady. I don't think they were wrong, and I think that had less to do about her being black or a woman and a whole lot more to do with her just not following the rules. And I don't think you're supposed to rally the troops. Come on, black people, have my back because I fucked up. You know what I mean? That's not right. Come on, women, the feminist movement, y'all need y'all to ride with me because I fucked up. That's not okay, because now we're getting into the realm of bullying. You're using using the support system that you have to run roughshod over the organization or the institution that you agreed to participate in by these set rules. And that's not okay. That's not okay. So I got a problem with that. Does that make me any less of a fan of the little sister? No, it doesn't. But what I really enjoyed recently was watching the video of this little sister showing the whole world what black men deal with our women. The psychology that says, I don't even have to be humble even in defeat. Now, hear me well. Can you imagine being in a relationship with someone like that? Because that mentality that she displayed after she came in 9th out of 9, you stood up there and talked shit like you just put on an all-star performance. Don't get me wrong, you're still special, you're still great. I don't know what happened. Things fuck up. Things happen. Things happen. And mind you, this is coming from a brother who recently just lost a fight. As a fighter, it's a little bit different when you lose, though. I don't know. We learn to win like we lose. We win gracefully and lose gracefully. We win respectfully and we lose respectfully. Those that want to maintain their image as role models and those that want to maintain their image as influencers have to be mindful of their appearance in the public eye. That's just what it is. And you have to make sure that these little kids that look up to you and take pictures with you and love you see you conduct yourself in a respectful way, regardless to how things went for you in the cage or the ring. And most of the time you have no idea that these two guys just tried to kill each other 30 seconds ago, because we usually, regardless win, lose, or draw, typically We hug, we shake hands, we exchange information, we become friends, we follow each other on Facebook, and we root for each other in real life. And we show real love, care, and concern for one another. I don't know what bond happens when guys fight. But anyways, I just got beat by it. I love him to death. Great guy. I'd really love to get a rematch with him because I think I was going to kick his ass. And I say that with love and violence. But he got me in an armbar. I had to take that L. I love the guy for it. Because he showed in that defeat, I was humbled in that defeat because now I see, okay, I have a hole in my armor. Now is not the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm still confident as a fighter. I just talked about beating. I want to beat his ass. I was on the road to beating his ass. That's the way I feel, and I got caught because I got complacent. That's the way I feel about it. But I still have to be humble and accept the fact that I was defeated. And show him respect and gratitude for allowing me to see I have to work on this. But this lady stood there after not only not winning, but being totally dominated. 9th place. You came in last place. Don't get me wrong, that's still last place in the fastest women of the world. Don't get me wrong. You're still an exceptional person. But you were totally dominated. And in the face of domination, you showed the world, I appreciate you for showing the world what most black men deal with in their household. Women who refuse to be humble, even in lieu of defeat, even in lieu of fucking up. It can be her fault. Okay, I'm sorry. I fucked up. Okay. Yeah, I'm still me. Y'all know what I can do. She's talking. No, sweetheart. We don't know what you can do. Because based on what we just saw, what you can do is 9th place. Do you really think that you can piss on our legs and tell us it's raining? You think that the sponsors are going to skip over all the other 8 girls that came in front of you and come to you? And this is after I said you're a special person. She's a special person. And I believe that she's a superstar. But I also believe that this young lady is carrying some baggage on the mental health side of the game that she needs to get rectified. And it's a lot of the mental health problems that I see our women deal with. And when I say our, I mean black. For my listeners out there on Spotify, YouTube, and I might even go back to Podbean. If you hear me talking, I'm talking to my brothers and sisters, my friends and family on Facebook. Because as I record this for Spotify and YouTube, I also broadcast live from Facebook because that's all I can afford right now. But anyways, getting back to Sha'Carri. She has a challenge in front of her. And I say this because this lady is influential and she has influence over young women. And this is a pivotal moment in her life. She can use this moment if the right people get around her. I don't know who's around her. I don't know anything about her camp or anything like that. But if the right people get around her, this is an opportunity for there to be a paradigm shift in men and women's relationships in the black community. Because the mentality of accountability has to be real. The concept of accountability has to be real. And for young ladies to see someone fuck up and hold themselves accountable, that would be very big in the black community. I know my mom ain't never said sorry for shit. And that's just applying to the cold hard truth. Most of us in the black community rarely hear our women ask for forgiveness. We rarely hear the women in our community admit fault. Even in the face of defeat, this lady is still standing in here telling us that she's the best. You came in 9th. You're not the best. There are 8 people that are better than you. But this is the psychosis that we deal with in the black community. This lady will have 4 kids by 5 different guys. She's on hood. She works a job making $12 an hour. And she will act like she's the prize in the situation. Wait a minute, baby girl, I'm just shitting in the toilet compared to what you are on the socioeconomic scale. You bringing into this relationship a 600 credit score, 4 kids that belong to somebody else, college debt, and a bad attitude, and used vagina that you're going to be too tired at some point to give me. Used vagina that you're going to not feel like doing anything tonight with. So you really think that you're valuable? You really think, do you understand what I'm saying? This is the psychosis that we're dealing with. Sha'Carri Richardson displayed that. In the face of defeat, you're still telling me that you're better than the other 8 bitches that beat you. And I'm like, does America see what we deal with? Why there's a 60-some-odd% divorce rate in the black community? Because I have no idea what they put in the water or what they put in the bundles, whatever it is that attacks black women's psychology to where they think like that. This girl came in 9th place and she's sitting up there telling the sponsors, I'm still the best. Wait a minute, sweetheart. You just came in 9th place. It's a time to be humble. Hey, I'm going through some things, as you guys know. I had the situation with my mother. I have been indulging in marijuana. And as you can see, here's a result of it. And I hope this is a lesson to all the ladies out there that look up to me, that see this right now. Like sometimes you got to get some help on the mental health side of the game. Turning to drugs isn't the answer. I went from being the #1 person to now I'm coming in 9th place. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get myself some help. I'm going to get some rehab. I'm going to get some mental health work. And I'm going to come back stronger. And I'm going to show you guys that this isn't going to keep me down. This isn't who I am. And I'm going to show you that by going to get myself some help. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that, black women? Why wouldn't that be okay? Because obviously the young lady's going through some life problems. I know. Everybody's got them. I got life problems. You seek out some help. And I know it's uncomfortable asking for help. I recognize that mental health, asking for help on the mental health side of the game is very uncomfortable. It's scary. It's more than uncomfortable. It's downright frightening. I get that. I know because I've been in the psychiatrist's office. I've been in these people's groups. And I've been to these people's therapy sessions. I recognize how foreboding that is. But when you're on the world stage, I'm an athlete. And I have the biggest stage I've been on was the National Golden Gloves in 2016. That was the biggest crowd I've been in front of. And it was frightening. I got stage fright. I didn't even know that was a real thing. I lost the stage fright. I didn't lose to the guy. I could beat that guy. But I was standing there like this. Stage fright. So she's on the world stage. I recognize the pressure, baby. I recognize the fact that you got some life problems on you. But our women have to learn humility. You're still going to act like you the prize in the situation after you just stunk up the place. I went and played basketball last week for the first time in I don't know how many years. Probably since prison at least. I've been out of prison 8 years. You know, so at least the first time since prison. And I didn't play in there very often. I knew I was going to stink up the place. I haven't shot a basketball in almost a decade. But I love basketball, and I used to be pretty good. I'm nowhere near as good as I used to be. But I was like, I know I'm going to stink up the place, but I'm just going to get a good workout. Do you think I was out there acting like LeBron on the court? I know I stink. So when the guys get attitudes and stuff because I'm a bum, like, I'm not mad at them. I'm like, hey, sorry, guys. When they picked me up, I was like, hey, I haven't played basketball in like 10 years, guys. And I'm kind of like, just a muscle head. I'm kind of uncoordinated. I'm just a fighter. I just want to run up and down the basketball court and get some cardio in. I got hell of a defense, but if I get the ball, I'm probably gonna screw up. So I'm gonna get the ball and pass, kind of deal. I made a couple of points, but I did stink up the place. But it was understandable. I was humble because I knew I was going into an arena that I hadn't been in a while. Doesn't she just come off a suspension? Hey, this is what happens when you do things that take you out of the game for a little while, ladies. Don't be like me. But listen, I made a mistake because I allowed my personal life to affect my professional life. I'm going to go get myself together and I'm going to come back strong. And I'm going to show you guys black girl magic. I'm going to show you guys woman power. I'm going to show you girl power. Hear me roar. I'm coming back stronger than ever. I apologize for my performance. This is not who I am. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. See you soon. Why can't we do that? Now, if you guys saw all over the world, we saw this young lady. That's the average black woman. That mentality is the average black woman. That's what we deal with on a regular basis. Those are our moms. Those are our aunties and our cousins. And unfortunately, oftentimes, our wives. Those are the women that we marry and have children with. Those are the women that bear us. Women that never say, I'm sorry. Women that never say it was my fault. Women that have 13 kids by 16 different men and will sit up here and act like ain't no good men in the world. It seems like you found all of them, baby. Every time I hear some lady talking trash on men, not taking responsibility for her reckless use of her vagina, every time I hear one of these young ladies doing that, they always have multiple kids by multiple men. Ain't no good men out there. You've already had yours. You've already got your shot. If you have children by multiple men and you can't find a good man, you might need to cash it out. Go ahead and sew it up because you already got your shot. You're not going to get another shot because a really good man doesn't want that. Oftentimes, there are exceptions to the rule. Some successful men want ready-made families. I don't know where they are. I don't know any, but I don't believe in absolutes. So I have to say that dude exists somewhere. For the lady who's going to say, you don't know. Yeah, sister, keep on living that fairy tale. Anyways, but it boils down to accountability. And most black women that I know, you can't tell them shit. You can't tell them anything. Even when they're wrong. Even when they're wrong. And what does she do? Y'all can't stop nothing. What all black women do, it's God's time. It's got, wait a minute, you just got done acting a whole fool a little while ago. Y'all can't stop nothing. God. And I've seen that my whole life growing up. I've been around black women my whole life. When black women act like a man isn't qualified to speak on the psychology of the black woman, and you're like, you guys raised us. Who better than someone who has 30 some odd years of experience of observing your behavior from infancy to adulthood? We are experts at dealing with you. Why do you think here's the thing that's going to get me in trouble. Most black dudes got about 4 or 5 girls at least. If he's worth his salt, most black guys got about 4 or 5 girls. And I'll tell you why. Because of Sha'Carri Richardson's mindset. We learn at a very young age how to play women. The first woman we learned how to play was our mom. Because our mom is an emotional person who doesn't take responsibility for herself, like all the women that we end up dealing with later on in the game, similar to Little Miss Sha'Carri. So we learn at a very young age how to be exactly what you want. You want me to be a dancer? Oh, I'll come over here and do dance, Tay-Tay. You know, okay, you want me to tell jokes? I'll make it funny. Ta-da! You know, we learn to wear so many different masks and so many different hats because of this mindset. So that's why it's easy for, I know my white friends, I remember back when I was in the game, I would have anywhere from 6 or 7 girlfriends at a time, easy. And my white friends were, my white homeboys used to think I was the player. I was like, man, this is what we all do this. I was like, this ain't nothing special. Like, and they just like, man, they can't keep, most white dudes can't keep one bitch. So they're like, how are you juggling so many girls? And I'm like, it's not juggling. You know what I mean? It's like you just wear a different hat for each one of them. And you learn this growing up. That's why it's so easy to black dudes to entertain an idea like polygamy. And easier still to engage in it. Most black dudes are polygamists and don't realize it. They just got 6 or 7 girls and it's a normal life. They're running game and they're talking stuff and they're doing what they need to do. But our mothers teach us this. Our mothers teach us because they are crazy ladies who don't take responsibility for themselves, and we have to always watch. If you grew up in raised by a single black mom with this mentality like young Sha'Carri, you learn to sit on edge and watch her. And you learn which version of yourself you need to be in order to not inspire anger. In order to not attract her ire. To earn her wrath. Because at the end of the day, oh, and I know ladies are angry with what I'm saying. But comedians make jokes about it. You had knocked Keisha ass down between the washer and dry. How do you apologize? Come on, hey, you want to go eat? Come on, you want to go get your hair done? They never apologize. They'll just try to do things and act like it didn't happen. They'll try to do a nice thing. I know I've been had the shit beat out of me before by my mom, and then she's like, hey, you want to go to McDonald's? And you know, you learn that that's the apology. You learn that that's her saying, I'm sorry, I went too far. I was raised in a household with a lady with a mentality like young Sha'Carri. And that's not me talking shit on my mom. That's not me talking shit on my mom at all. But parents have to realize that, I realized that my daughter's truth one day is going to be shared in a story where I don't sound favorable. Because of this decisions that I made, because of circumstances that I put her in, and because of going to jail or whatever the case may have been, jumping on her mom. There's a story that my daughter is going to tell that is going to be her truth one day. And I'm going to be the villain in that story at some point. And I got to be okay with that, see, because that's her truth. I might have just been a nigga having problems with this girl at the time. But to that little baby, I might have been a monster that was attacking her mom. And if that little girl becomes a woman and decides to tell that story, I got to be okay with that. See, that's why I have to tell the story. That's why I have to live honestly and openly and take responsibility and accountability. So that one day when my daughter's telling her truth, I don't stop speaking to her. Because her truth embarrassed me. That's the reality of what happens when you're raised by a woman like Sha'Carri Richardson. One day, the truth that you have to speak embarrasses that lady. Because she never saw it through that lens. She was just being her reckless, unaccountable, irresponsible self. Never able to be checked. Never able to be checked. You got to be leery of people who can't be checked. The LGBTQ community, you got to be leery of these people because you're not allowed to check them. You're not allowed to check them. Me and Kevin are going to talk about that later on this evening, matter of fact. But you're not allowed to check those people. So you got to be leery of those people. Women, the feminist movement. You got to be leery of these people because you're not allowed to check them. Anyone in society who's not allowed to be checked is to be watched. Remember I said that. Anybody in society who cannot be checked is to be watched. That's a rabid animal. That's a rabid animal. That animal will destroy you. When I use that analogy, does it sound like the LGBT community? What they do to people's careers because they said something they didn't like? Made a joke that they didn't care for? Turned down one of their advances? They'll turn around and they'll destroy you. That's an animal. That's a rabid animal. And the institution of womanhood in its toxic form of femininity, feminist movement, is a similar animal. Very, 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 very ferocious animal. So, doubly so in the black community, because black people in general experience a level of dysfunction that is specific to the race based on our previous status in this country. So there's already a level of dysfunction and mental instability based on being black people in this country. And then coupled with the overly toxic institution known as the feminist movement and the LG, and then they align themselves with the LGBTQ community as well. So you have a whole lot of people who will gang up on you, even if you're in the right, in the name of quieting you. Say that again. You got a lot of people that will gang up and quiet you if you criticize them. Who is above criticism in this society? I was not a Trump supporter, but Donald Trump held the highest office in this country, and people still found a way to disrespect him, disrespect his wife, and to disrespect that seat. And there are people who argue he disrespected it first. That's subjective. Excuse me, that's relative. Because I think he started being disrespected from the time he ran. And this is not being a fan of his at all. This is not being a fan. This is just calling the thing a thing. They never treated him with respect out the gate. He was written off as a joke. His entire campaign was a joke. People were joking and making jokes. Wrote him off. That's all I'm saying. But people found a way to disrespect him and the highest office in the world. So if we can criticize the President of the United States, but we can't criticize women or gay people, that tells you where the power is at. Nobody had any qualms. Nobody got canceled for disrespecting Donald Trump. And this man's the President of the United States of America, arguably the most powerful country in the world. The world's police. That nigga controls the military, the United States military. This is the world's police. He was able to be criticized and at times disrespected by people in this country. But people in this country are not allowed to disrespect or let alone disrespect, criticize gay people or women in the media. Catch that dirt. You have to be leery of people who are not allowed to be checked. Donald Trump was checked. Stephen A. Smith has been checked. Anderson Cooper's been checked. Sha'Carri Richardson needs to be checked. But you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that in the United States of America. And let me tell you something. You damn sure are not allowed to do that in the black community. Because if you criticize a black woman, you hate black women. You got to understand how polarized our women are in their thinking. If you say, hey baby, tonight's dinner wasn't that good. Oh, I'm not a good cook. I didn't say you wasn't a good cook, baby. I said tonight it wasn't good. Every other night was good. I'm just saying this night ain't good. I'll stop cooking because I'm not a good cook. I'm gonna be honest. That was a real conversation in my previous relationship. That's the kind of psychosis that you're dealing with in our community. That's a regular thing. You're not allowed to criticize. I'll just throw it in the air. And then they'll turn around and tell you exactly to the letter what a man is, and if you're not meeting this criteria, Negro, you ain't ish. Right? But that's the way. They'll give you a laundry list of things that you need to work on for yourself, and you turn around and say, well, thank you, baby. I'm going to take a look at these things. But here's a list. I got like 3 things that I want you to work on. You know what they'll say in the same breath after just giving you that list? You need to accept me for who I am. That's just who I am. This is me. This is just who I am. You need to accept me for me. You need to love me for me. Right after you just told me, based on this list, that I need to become a whole new nigga. Okay. I need to become a whole new nigga, and you get to be your same dysfunctional self. I don't know. That's the household that's the kind of household I was raised in. Those are conversations I heard growing up. These are conversations that I had later on in life. These are conversations that my friends have had, and I'm like, okay, I've deduced the facts. Based on empirical data gathered over 30 some odd years of dealing with this species of creature, I love a black woman. There is a supreme level of dysfunction that goes on in this lady's head. And it needs to get righted. And I hope, my hope and my prayer and my dream and my want is that young Miss Sha'Carri Richardson gets righteous people around her. I'm not saying that she doesn't have those people, because I don't know. I hope that she has righteous people around her and that they have the courage to tell her what she needs to know. And I hope that she heeds the call, and I hope that she humbles herself and shows other women, hey, sometimes it's our fault. Sometimes we're wrong. This whole thing is my fault. I smoked weed. You're not the first person to have a parent pass away. Buster Douglas's mama died the day before, or 2 days before him and Mike Tyson fought, and he promised his mama, I'm going to beat his ass. Nobody in the world thought Buster Douglas was going to whoop Mike Tyson except for Buster motherfucking Douglas. Because he promised his mama on her deathbed that that's what he was going to do. So, little sister, while my heart goes out to you about your mother passing, you just use the energy the wrong way. Because there are plenty of people who took that energy and turned it around and made it something positive. Buster Douglas changed the world. He beat the scariest, baddest motherfucker in the world. Everybody and their mama was afraid of this man and thought he was invincible, except for Buster Douglas. Because he made a vow to his mama that he was whooping this for her. And he did that. And you could have done the same thing, because you are great. The difference between yourself and Buster Douglas is Buster Douglas was a one-hit wonder. You, ma'am, are greatness incarnate. You are exceptional. You are a giant. You're a titan amongst men and women. You are gargantuan. You're a superstar. You're everything amazing and everything great. But you lack a simple skill, and that is the ability to humble yourself, to humble yourself and to hold yourself accountable. The lack of accountability will hinder you, my lady, in your relationships, which are more important than any endorsement or any type of money that you can get. Because those relationships will lead you to so much more. The lack of accountability and the lack of the ability to humble yourself in the face of defeat. I love that you're proud and outspoken. I love how your shoulders sit back and how your head is held high and you look so proud and beautiful like the queen that you are. I applaud that. But in the face of defeat, I wish you would show our young ladies, let's take an L the same way we take a W, with grace and humility. Because, as you've seen, defeat is on the menu. Defeat is on the menu. so you can lose. I lost. That's how I know. I've lost. Shit, I've lost a lot. I won a lot too. And if you win humbly and respectfully and beautifully, when you inevitably lose, because every champion, every great motherfucker does. We love Ali because he showed us that even in defeat he was great, but he was humble. It was beautiful. And we still herald him as the greatest. Floyd is undefeated, and people argue about whether or not he's the greatest. I love Floyd, and I think he is the greatest. But Ali will always be the greatest, and Ali lost. But that's because Ali showed us that you can lose with dignity. Ali showed us that you can lose with dignity, you can lose with respect. And Sha'Carri Richardson, if you learn the tiniest bit of humility, and if you get your shit together on the woman's side of the game and pull your lace front plaid head out of your ass, then you too, ma'am, will transcend a defeat and continue to be great. As it stands, you sound like a spoiled little brat, like most of us are used to dealing with in the black community. And we don't like it. But we love you. And we love what we know you're going to be. So I got faith in you because you seem so intelligent, so great. That you're going to heed someone's words similar to mine and hold yourself accountable and show our sisters exactly how that's done and explain that process so that we can have a real benefit from you being as great as you are. There have been so many great women who squandered their platform. I just hope the young Miss Sha'Carri Richardson is not one of those young ladies. Hey, I don't have all the answers. I might just be talking outside of my head right now. Nigga, I might be hot shit. I don't know. But what I do know is that things have to be challenged. And when I see a young lady on the world stage with the type of influence that she has, behaving the way that I've seen every single young black woman behave in my company, I have to say something about that. Because this behavior is being displayed on the world stage, young lady. It's good and it's bad. It's showing, hey, I see what they're talking about. Kevin Samuels ain't bashing y'all. Baby, he's not bashing you. Corey Holcomb, for all his antics, is not bashing you. Shout out to Corey. I love Corey Holcomb. I'm wearing one of his shirts right now. It says, practice safe sex because pregnant girlfriends ruin marriages. The book of Corinthians. I love this shirt. Had this shirt for years now. They're not picking on you, black women. They're criticizing you because, like myself, they have 30 some odd years of experience at dealing with you guys and the dysfunction. And we've been patient with you because we recognize there's a level of dysfunction that goes along with being black in general. And then there is a certain level of dysfunction and mental instability that goes along with being a woman. So we recognize that, we've been patient with you, but now with Miss Sha'Carri on the world stage displaying this behavior, I say it's time to hold these women accountable, hold them to task, and ladies, it's time for you guys to hold yourself accountable as well. Self-accountability, self-accountability. Hey, my name is Arshawn Wade, a.k.a. The Angry Nerd, a.k.a. Arshawn the Mouthpiece, the cat that got lost in Arkansas on his way to South Beach, a.k.a. Arshawn, a.k.a. Sean with the motherfucking R. Peace.